Let's be honest, most older men have no clue why younger women glance at them in ways that make their hearts race. And yet, it's happening all around you. Maybe you've caught a look in a coffee shop, a bar, or even at the gym, and for a second, you felt that spark, that pull, but then your mind started overthinking, doubting, questioning. Why me? What does she see? Most men blame luck, charm, or just being in the right place at the right time. But the truth is far deeper, far more psychological, and it's a truth that women never openly admit because society has convinced them to hide what truly excites them. Here's the reality. Younger women are wired to notice traits that signal stability, power, and emotional mastery. Not just money, not just looks, not just status, though yes, those things help, but a man who radiates quiet confidence, who has endured life, faced challenges, and emerged resilient, sends signals that most younger men simply cannot. Think about it. How often do you see a 25-year-old man with the same calm certainty, the same controlled patience, the same unshakable presence that comes naturally with age? That's what draws her eye before she even realizes why. It's not about your beard, your muscles, or even your car. It's about energy, and energy doesn't lie. Women pick up on it subconsciously. Your calm in chaos, your laughter that isn't forced, your ability to lead without needing approval. These things whisper volumes in ways she can't articulate. And here's the kicker. Most older men don't even recognize the power they hold. They see themselves as past their prime, as older, as somehow irrelevant in a world obsessed with youth. But that's exactly the trap, because youth isn't the only magnet. Experience, maturity, and the ability to remain grounded, that's magnetic. That's irresistible. Here's the subtle twist most men miss. Younger women are not always looking for a long-term commitment. Often, they're drawn to energy they admire, the sense of security, and the emotional intelligence older men carry without trying. And this isn't manipulative, it's primal psychology. Her brain notices patterns. Who makes her feel safe? Who makes her curious? Who makes her feel alive, even in a single glance? And when you carry yourself with the understated confidence of a man who knows his value, you are answering those questions before she even speaks a word. But let's be real, noticing this is only the first step. Most men respond poorly. They either panic, try too hard, or talk themselves out of connection entirely. Confidence isn't loud, it's quiet. It's knowing your worth without needing validation. And that quiet, unshakable sense of self, it is far more attractive than youth, looks, or flashy gestures. Women sense it instantly. They feel it in the way you hold your posture, in your tone, in the calm patience of your responses. You might think she's noticing your hairline, but she's noticing your presence, your history, your resilience. So, ask yourself, are you showing up as the man you think she sees, or the man you fear she will reject? Because the truth is, younger women are drawn not to fear, but to mastery, emotional mastery, life mastery. And if you've spent decades building that quietly, unknowingly, the world is already noticing, and the women around you feel it before they ever speak. Let's cut through the illusions most men have about attraction. Too many older men believe it's about being flashy, about buying her attention, about trying to impress. That's a lie society has sold you. The women looking at you, they're not evaluating your bank account, your latest gadget, or even how many abs you can show. They're evaluating one invisible, unspoken thing: your stability, emotional stability, life stability, the quiet confidence that says, I've lived, I've learned, and I'm still standing. Think about it. Younger men chase approval, validation, attention. They are loud, desperate, often inconsistent. They panic when a woman doesn't text back immediately. They overcomplicate, overthink, overperform. But older men who have faced life's hardships, the ones who've been heartbroken, who've lost, who've rebuilt, they carry a calm like a shield. And women notice. They don't just see it, they feel it. Their subconscious senses your strength, your resilience, and that triggers curiosity, admiration, and yes, desire. Here's the subtle psychology most men miss. Women are wired to notice contrasts. The younger, insecure men make her anxious. The older, stable man makes her feel grounded. That contrast creates a magnetism that can be irresistible. She doesn't need a reason. She doesn't need logic. She just feels drawn. And you, if you recognize it, can lean into it. Not with manipulation, but with authenticity. Because authenticity, when combined with experience and confidence, is the ultimate attraction. But let's be honest, most men misread the signals entirely. They assume interest means obligation. They assume attention equals romance. They panic, they overcompensate, they destroy the very energy that attracted her in the first place. And that's the irony. The more you chase, the less magnetic you become. The more you fear losing, the less powerful you are. Women sense fear immediately. It's like a flashing warning sign. What they truly notice and what keeps them intrigued is calm certainty. A man who does not need constant validation. A man who knows his worth. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Younger women often project onto older men what they aspire to become themselves. They see discipline, life experience, self-assuredness, and emotional intelligence. And that projection creates a deep psychological pull. She admires it, yes, but admiration can turn into fascination, into longing, into a magnetic attraction that is nearly impossible to ignore. And when you understand that, you realize the game isn't about impressing, it's about embodying the qualities she secretly craves. So the question every man must ask himself is this: are you living as a man of experience and integrity, or are you living in the shadow of your fears, comparing yourself to younger competition? Because women notice the difference immediately. They don't care about the numbers, the age, or the superficial markers. They feel the essence of a man who is fully himself. And that feeling creates fascination, curiosity, and an attraction that no superficial strategy can ever replicate. Think about this carefully. The attraction of a younger woman isn't about her youth, it's about the energy you carry, the lessons you've learned, the calm confidence that comes from surviving, thriving, and standing tall no matter what life threw at you. That's why they look at older men, and why most older men remain oblivious. Most men never realize the silent power they carry, and that's why younger women notice them before anyone else does. You might think it's luck or some fleeting attraction, but it's psychology. Deep, primal psychology that most men are completely blind to. Women are wired to detect patterns. Who can protect, who can provide, who can endure life without crumbling under pressure. And older men, the ones who have faced life and not just survived, but thrived, radiate that energy unconsciously. It's magnetic because it's real, it's earned, and it's rare. Here's the reality. The majority of younger men are unpredictable. They are reactive. They are inexperienced in handling emotional storms, in holding steady when life gets rough. But an older man who has experienced heartbreak, loss, career failures, and still stands, he carries a calm certainty that signals something far more valuable than looks or money. That certainty whispers, "I've seen life. I can handle anything. I am not afraid," and women notice, even subconsciously, even if they can't explain why their gaze lingers. But here's where most men trip up. They think that noticing equals opportunity. They overthink every glance, every smile, every conversation. And in that overthinking, they lose the very energy that drew her in. Because fascination, real fascination, is delicate. It thrives on mystery, on controlled presence, on a man who knows his value without needing her to validate it. The more you panic, the more you chase, the more you dilute that power. Fascination comes from being fully yourself, without apology, without anxiety, without performance. There's another layer most men don't see. Younger women are often looking for traits they subconsciously want to develop in themselves. Discipline, emotional intelligence, patience, resilience. And when they see a man who embodies these traits naturally, it creates an internal tension, a desire to connect, to learn, to absorb that energy. That's why her eyes linger, why her attention subtly shifts toward you, and why she may act differently around you than around her peers. She's sensing what you've built in yourself, mastery over life, mastery over self. But let's be honest, the world rarely teaches men how to own this energy consciously. Most men try to compensate with money, gifts, or forced charm. None of it matters if your core presence is weak. True attraction comes from the subtle cues, the way you walk, the way you speak, the calm authority you exude in tense moments. Younger women sense these cues instantly. They feel the stability before they can name it, and that feeling triggers curiosity, fascination, and an almost magnetic draw that's impossible to fake. So here's the truth most men never hear. Your age, your past, your setbacks, they aren't liabilities. They are your power. The lessons you've learned, the calm you carry, the patience you've honed, they make you rare in a world full of impulsive, restless, inexperienced men. And that rarity, that is exactly what makes younger women look at you the way they do. It's not charm, it's not luck, it's earned presence, it's psychology, it's magnetic. The question you must ask yourself is simple. Are you aware of the silent power you carry, or are you letting fear and self-doubt hide it? Because the moment you recognize it, you begin to step fully into the energy that draws attention, fascination, and desire effortlessly. And once you do, everything changes. How you move, how you interact, how the world responds. Most men have no idea what really fascinates younger women. They think it's looks, charm, or a witty joke. But it's none of that. The truth is far more subtle and far more powerful. Women are drawn to energy that signals experience, stability, and emotional mastery. It's invisible, yet undeniable. And here's the thing, the older man often has all of this without even trying. He has faced challenges, failures, heartbreak, and still stands tall. That resilience radiates, and younger women pick up on it before any words are spoken. Here's what most men miss. Fascination is created not through action, but through presence. The way you hold yourself, the calm confidence in your tone, the patience in your responses, they all send signals that the world of youth cannot replicate. Younger women notice it subconsciously. It doesn't matter if she can't put it into words. She feels it in her chest, in the way her pulse shifts when she's near you. That subtle recognition is more powerful than any flashy display, expensive gift, or forced charm. But most men make one critical mistake. They mistake attraction for obligation. A glance, a smile, or lingering attention makes them panic. They overcompensate, try too hard, and destroy the energy that drew her in. Fascination thrives on mystery, on calm certainty, on quiet mastery. The older man doesn't need to prove anything. He simply exists with confidence, and that alone is magnetic. Women sense fear immediately, and nothing kills attraction faster than a man desperate to be liked. Here's another psychological truth most men never hear. Younger women are drawn to traits they admire, traits they want to embody themselves. Emotional intelligence, resilience, discipline, calm authority, and when they see it naturally expressed in a man, it triggers curiosity, admiration, and desire. It's primal, it's subconscious, and it's exactly why older men, even when they feel past their prime, are often the ones who capture attention effortlessly. But let's be honest, awareness is not enough. Action matters, though not in the way most men assume. You don't need to chase, impress, or manipulate. You need to embody, consistently and authentically, the traits that create fascination. Stand firm in your presence, speak with authority, maintain composure under pressure, live a life that reflects confidence and mastery. These are not tricks. They are the byproducts of experience, self-awareness, and resilience. So the question every man must ask himself is this: are you standing in the energy that naturally draws attention, or are you hiding behind fear, doubt, and comparison? Because when you step fully into this energy, you don't just notice women looking at you, you become unforgettable. You create curiosity, admiration, and an attraction that cannot be bought or forced. And that, my friend, is the silent power most older men never realize they already possess. When a younger woman looks at an older man, she's not just seeing him, she's feeling something she doesn't feel anywhere else. It's not about money, it's not about looks. It's about the emotional vibration of a man who no longer plays games, who no longer needs to prove his worth, who simply is. That energy is intoxicating, it's rare, it's real, and in a world obsessed with superficial validation, that kind of authenticity stands out like fire in the dark. You see, younger women aren't always conscious of what draws them in. It's instinctive. The older man's calm confidence signals something their generation often lacks: emotional safety. It's not about control, it's about composure. A man who doesn't lose himself under pressure. A man whose energy feels grounded, mature, and steady. In a society that glorifies chaos, that kind of steadiness feels like oxygen. And once she feels it, she won't forget it. But here's where most men fail. They underestimate how powerful their silence can be. They fill every pause with words, every gap with nervous energy. Yet true presence doesn't need to speak loudly. It commands without demanding. It's in your stillness, your steady eye contact, your slow movements. It's in the way you carry yourself when no one's watching. Women notice that. They notice everything. They feel when you're centered and when you're scattered. They feel when you're confident and when you're uncertain. And they respond to the energy that makes them feel most at ease. There's another truth most men refuse to accept. Attraction is not about chasing, it's about aligning. You don't run after it, you become it. When your energy is strong, focused, and calm, women naturally lean toward it. That's why the older man who has done his inner work, who's healed, who's learned, who's disciplined, radiates a quiet magnetism that no amount of youth can fake. And that's why women look. It's not about fantasy, it's about fascination. She's drawn to what she feels she can trust. But let's go deeper. Younger women often see in older men the reflection of what they secretly crave: direction, composure, and emotional grounding. She might not even understand why she's drawn to you, only that she feels safe around your energy, intrigued by your mind, and curious about your depth. And here's the key: when you respond with calm strength, when you don't chase, when you don't flinch, you allow that fascination to grow naturally. The tragedy is that most men never learn this. They think attraction is about external validation, cars, status, looks. But the reality is, the older man's advantage isn't in appearance, it's in aura. It's in who he's become. The man who has seen storms and no longer fears the rain. The man who doesn't need approval to stand tall. That's the kind of presence that doesn't beg for attention, it commands it. So take this in. Every scar, every lesson, every moment you thought made you weaker, it all forged the strength that now draws attention effortlessly. The younger woman sees it even when you don't. She sees the calm, the composure, the depth. And that's what makes her look again, not because of who you were, but because of who you've become. The reason younger women look at older men isn't a mystery. It's evolution meeting experience. It's instinct meeting energy. It's her subconscious recognizing something she can't quite describe. A man who's lived, learned, and evolved beyond the chaos. You see, attraction isn't random. It's deeply psychological. And when she looks at you, she's not just seeing your face, your body, or your age. She's sensing your history, the battles you fought, the storms you endured, the calm you carry now because of it all. You have something most men spend their whole lives chasing: presence. You earned it. The quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout, the energy that doesn't demand attention but still commands it. When you walk into a room, that presence speaks louder than any words could. And that's what draws her eyes, not because she's seeking wealth or fantasy, but because your energy feels real in a world full of facades. It feels safe, grounded, and masculine in the purest sense of the word. But here's the truth that no one tells older men. Most of you underestimate your own value. You downplay your life experience, your wisdom, your calm authority. You see your scars as flaws when, in reality, they're proof of endurance. And that's the very thing that separates you from the rest. Because the modern world has too many men trying to look confident and not enough who actually are. The younger woman feels that difference instinctively. She feels when a man has been through life and come out stronger. She feels when a man carries peace instead of panic. And peace, my friend, is intoxicating. Every moment you've lived, every failure you've overcome, every heartbreak you've survived, it all shaped an energy that younger women can't ignore. It's not about chasing them, it's not about trying to be younger. It's about realizing that your maturity is the very thing that makes you magnetic. You don't compete with youth, you redefine it. You replace impulsiveness with purpose. You replace noise with silence. You replace insecurity with unshakable calm. And that's what turns heads without effort. So the next time you catch a younger woman glancing your way, don't question it. Don't shrink. Don't dismiss it as coincidence. Understand what she's truly seeing. Your strength, your depth, your calm. She's not just looking at the man you are today. She's sensing the man you've become through every challenge, every triumph, every quiet victory you thought no one saw. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you unforgettable. But I want to leave you with one question, an honest one. When she looks at you, what does she feel? Does she feel a man still chained by his past? Or a man who's finally free from it? Think about that. And if this message hit you deep, if it made you see yourself a little clearer, then do one thing. Drop your answer in the comments below. I want to read it. Like this video if it spoke to you. Share it with a brother who needs to hear it, and make sure you subscribe, because we're just getting started. Your story isn't over. In fact, it's only now beginning.